Que boletín, my peeps. Aquí estoy con un socio que you're all going to want to know who this guy is. This is Andy. He's a Navy veteran. He's the only person I know that knows how many seamen can a Navy man see if a Navy man can see seamen.
Bingo!
Colors are beautiful, bro.
Nice, nice.
I have a military background. Then I served as a police officer protecting the community, chasing down threats. But beyond the badges in the battlefield, I've always felt something deeper, a connection to the wild. Now I spend my time in the outdoors fishing calm waters, hunting in daylight, tracking through the night, and diving deep to catch lobsters beneath the surface. This is not just something I do. This is my world. And if you're ready to experience the wild with me, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe.
Dale. Okay, so here we are with Andy, Kelly Slater's best friend. Did you ever deploy anywhere? Were you in the Navy? Because I know you were a firefighter, and that's not really a deployed MOS. But.
Yeah, I can't say deployed. I was on a ship.
Okay.
And they would say
that's a deployment. No, but that counts as a
yeah,
deployment.
I was on a ship, but they said it was welded to the pier, so we never went anywhere.
Oh, it was one of those.
It was, filled with welders, machinists, firefighters, and it had to be in port because we were a submarine repair ship. So the subs came in after being 6-7 months out, and everything's broken. So we all had to jump in there and fix everything before they head back out.
I'm pretty sure, because if you're like me, one of the old school, you didn't get a lot of pictures, did you?
No.
This generation
Disposable
today,
camera time.
and nobody keeps that, bro. It would be a book like that of pictures.
24 pictures. That used to be a lot. Now we have thousands.
Thank you for your service, my friend.
Cheers.
Hoorah.
Thank you for your service.
The Navy had to create the Marine Corps men's department. But don't worry, we're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah, well, they needed someone to drive them around. So
that's right. On their boats. That's what we use you guys for. You're taxis.
Yeah.
And so you got out and you were in charge of a really big corporate business up in Broward. What's it called? BC Surf and...
BC Surf and Sport.
For 20 years?
Yeah. But not right when I got out.
Oh, but bro, you look young. How old are you?
47.
Yeah, because you're telling me you did 20 years with that company. Well, that's a lot of time.
Yeah. It was a long time, but a great time.
And you must have learned a lot, because I know you're running everything at Shaka Kai. Talk to me a little bit about that company.
About BC Surf and Sport?
No,
or Shaka
BC
Kai?
Surf and Sport, Shaka Kai, because you know what? You had to learn so much at BC Surf for them to hire you as you're their main marketing guy. You're the GM.
I'm the main everything. So
for them to trust you.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes all the way back to just being in love with management and operations.
Did you coming into this business, do you see yourself as a perk going fishing or doing any outdoor activities?
Yeah, I guess coming into the surf industry specifically, or Shaka Kai?
No, Shaka Kai, because Shaka Kai, you guys down here, it's kind of forced a little bit more towards fishing.
Yeah, I mean,
and the outdoors.
You look at
and
the
boating.
brand, and you know the brand is run and involved with people that live the lifestyle, that fish and boat and surf and.
But I figured
love the ocean.
You moving here and more to South Florida working. That's why I'm like, this is number one. It's all the fishing, the hunting.
Yeah, well, I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I drive to Miami every day, but I grew up in the water.
Did you ever do the swimming offshore with the sharks?
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
I've swam with sharks. I have a tiger shark tattoo on my leg because
I thought you were going to say you got bit.
I saw nurse sharks a million times, and that was no big deal. But in Bimini, my brother and I, with our dad, diving, Turtle Rocks in Bimini, and my dad taps me on the shoulder and points, and there's 2 giant tiger sharks just kind of creeping by us. He points to my brother, and he says, like, you know, don't tell your brother, my little brother. All of a sudden, we're chilling, and my brother starts freaking out and grabbing my dad and pointing to the sharks. And
yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Hard to miss.
So we just slowly went back to the boat, And the one thing I'll never forget is my brother gets out, my dad gets out. I'm up on the ladder. I just had to take one more look. I look back and I see both of them right behind us. And so those were the first real sharks I saw, like,
And you
on
chummed the water right there.
So yeah, so
myself.
tiger shark tattoo with a big story behind it. It was amazing.
And I figure you have to be a little bit more chill when it comes to sharks, because if you were into surfing, I know there's that fear, but you're actually more likely. It's rare. I don't know if you're aware of this. You're more likely to get struck by lightning than bit by a shark while surfing.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy, but it seems to be popping up a lot more. Hawaii, a lot more now.
Yeah.
Florida there's more shark attacks in Florida than anywhere. But yeah, you don't think about that when you're in the water. You're sitting on your board, your feet are dangling in the water, you're just waiting for a wave. You're not thinking about the sharks.
Yeah, the surfing, I don't think I have the balance for that. So I tried wakeboarding.
Yeah.
And I saw you did that. I didn't even do that good. That was once we got back from Iraq. That in Broward, you have a little wake park.
Yeah.
Where it's a little string that takes you around. I probably made it 10 feet. I had to swim my butt
Yeah,
back.
and we grew up going there when it was kneeboarding and hydrosliding. Yeah. That was like the sport. And then wakeboarding, well, I told you I grew up water skiing because my dad was a competition slalom skier.
Okay.
So then he had a slalom skiing and then trick skiing and then barefooting. And then both my brother and I, you have to go like 40, 50 mile an hour while you're barefooting. We both had falls that pretty much knocked the wind out of us. And we were like, all right, we're good on barefooting.
Were you with your wife while you were into surfing and skiing and all that? She met you while you were in that phase, or
surfing and skating, but not like hardcore into the behind the boat stuff. Like we were nuts, and
because you got kids too, so now it complicates everything.
Yeah, it changes everything. But
what is it you have?
I have a 6-year-old, one 6-year-old,
one 6-year-old,
and he's amazing. Surfs, skates.
You just told me 6 years
Ninja
old.
Warrior type stuff. Anything that's like, he plays baseball and soccer and football too, but he just does it because he loves to run around. Any of the unstructured sports like the surfing and the skateboarding, and that's all him. He just charges. Like, I love it.
Education, did you go to college? Did you do anything? You just from the school, you were like me, hey, I want to serve my country.
I was high school, and then it was actually, I think it was the summer of my junior year, went and signed up for the Navy. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I didn't even bring my dad, even though he's a Navy captain and everything. I did it on my own, and then told him afterwards.
I like that.
And the funny
thing
was,
in Spanish we say, once la pata está metida. Yeah, you're in so deep, like, hey, dad, I tell you this because there's no way out.
The funny thing was, I was, I wrestled in high school, and I did pretty well, and coach was telling me, I had potential.
You look like one of those guys that like the
I have potential. No.
Wrestling with oily men. I know you look like. You've told me to come into your office a few times.
No. I would hurt him as quick as possible, so it would be done with. But
it's a good skill to get when you're in school, because kids should learn, and that's something I feel should be school taught.
Yeah.
Self-defense, because anybody can be a victim at any time. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that you feel, oh, why would somebody hurt me? Somebody can have a mental crisis, or you're caught somewhere in a crossfire, and you could be a victim. Why not prepare our youth to make it harder to be a victim?
I mean, you especially know as a police officer, when someone's coming at you and doing crazy stuff, if you can just restrain them and hold them down until somebody else is there, like, that's all you need. But
or you're with your kids. Should you not know how to protect your family?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if your husband was inside the gas station trying to pay for the gas or something? You're out alone. Oh, no, burglar or whatever, please stand by. Let me wait till my husband gets out. No, a man and woman should have basic fundamentals.
I agree totally. But, yeah, I wrestled in high school, and I was doing pretty good. And I remember coach telling me, I had an opportunity to maybe a scholarship, partial scholarship. And this was like the beginning of senior year. And I'm like, well, I kind of joined the Navy already. And he, like, he had this just poking me in the chest.
And you're a good swimmer and everything, you did good. You did good going that route.
Dad's a Navy diver. It
doesn't
just
necessarily
came
mean you have to go Navy route. get
True,
me?
but I wanted to.
could've-
I grew up with Navy divers,
fit.
Navy SEALs, like in that world, and I wanted to do it. I already knew that's what I wanted to do. So
Yeah, Navy SEALs is no joke. I had some family that, there's people that are in great shape and they tell you, oh, I'm going to go to the Navy SEALs. And you look at them, you're like, yeah, you might be in great shape, but it's 90% mental.
Super fun.
You're too immature for that right now.
yeah, I saw some people that I would absolutely blown away at their physical abilities and didn't make it.
I made it
Couldn't
to a
go
couple
through it.
of specialized units in the police department where physically I did it, but mentally, bro, I was still a little kid.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you need to sustain it and be an effective special ops. You got to be more prepared mentally than physically.
yeah, absolutely.
Not a miss. Shaka Kai. You guys reached out to one of my, you responded to one of my emails where I asked you guys, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to impact my community. And would you guys consider possible sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. And I want to let people know, my followers, I'm indebted to them. They've helped me make it my baby steps. I want to earn my success, but I always want to remember, the more I receive, this is my philosophy, the more I receive, the more I'm expected to give back to the community, to a friend, to my neighbors. I start with my neighborhood. And I want you guys to know that I am grateful. Thank you, because you're the one who reached up the chain of command. I have followers that listen to me in English and in Spanish. I try to get you guys recognized, the Latinos as well. You guys are here for the right purpose.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, and what I liked about you when we first started talking was authenticity. You're real. Who you see is who you are. And you're genuine to what you're doing, and you put it all out there. This is me. This is what I'm doing. So
Life,
that means a lot right now with all the
life's
internet.
chains kind of break off the moment you accept to be who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
I have people, I've talked some stories on other podcasts, war stories and that. And my boys from the Marines that were there with me in Iraq can watch it and everybody sees it. And he's like, yeah, he's just telling it how it is.
Yeah,
There's no here trying to look cool on the camera. I want people here that I can talk to. And it goes both ways.
yeah, and it's so much easier and less stressful when you can
It
just
is. No, and it helps.
be
You gotta admit,
yourself and do what you feel comfortable doing.
you gotta admit, I had to give you like 20 minutes to take on the room. You
Yeah,
know?
no, it's amazing.
It's a museum of my past and my passions. And I what better way than to share it with my guests, my audience, and so they can grow with me as a team. They give me feedback. Hey, I had some people message me, hey, you got to put your cowboy hat. Got my cowboy hat. Your dad was a Navy diver. Before I continue rambling on about me anymore, I want to know what type of scuba suit did he have on? Because you're 47. Your dad had to be an old timer.
Yeah, so the easiest way for someone to know is the movie Men of Honor.
Okay.
It's called Mark V.
Crazy.
It's the big, huge dive helmet that it's actually very trendy now. Everyone's getting the tattoo, or everyone loves
Where
it.
you look
but-
like an astronaut
yeah,
almost.
but when I was a kid, I was going to the dive school, looking in a window of a pool, seeing my dad teach and wear this giant suit, and it was just incredible. And the stories, the work that they would have to do, wearing that suit is
it was
just
a different
unbelievable.
breed of man.
Unbelievable.
And I want to make sure, is he still alive?
Yes.
What's his last name?
Shear, same as
Shear?
me. I'm junior, so Andy Shear.
Hey, thank you for your service, Mr. Shear Senior. It's your breed of man that motivate some of us to become military as well, and hopefully we can be a good example for future youth to join the military and know what it brings to us, to our community. It's just, I think the minimum is 4 years on and then 4 years inactive, and I think that's the least.
Yeah, he did
Somebody can do
30.
Yeah, and you told me he did 30. That's an accomplishment.
Captain, 30 years, and yeah.
And in 30 years,
He
it
loved
isn't one of those where you
He
can be
didn't want to
like,
get out.
oh, I got away. I didn't get deployed. I didn't see no action. I didn't get
he
any
did.
inconveniences. People don't know, even the simple deployments of just having to go overseas on a ship, that's a sacrifice.
Yeah, well, he went Notre Dame, ROTC, first duty station on a destroyer as a weapons officer in Vietnam. And my grandparents were not too happy about that. That was his first orders, were straight to Vietnam. Where, I mean, he has so many stories, but
I would
literally
love
the
to
guns
sit
go
down with
off
him.
like every 40 seconds
Yeah, that was a different
For-
war back then,
for
bro.
days. And then when the guns stop, that's when you get worried.
Yeah.
Like, what's
They're
happening?
moving. They're
Yeah.
approaching. You don't know
Yeah.
where they're at anymore.
Why did the guns stop shooting?
And they would have these little lab rats tunnels where they would sleep underground in these spaces. They'd be like, "There's no way." And in Vietnam, they had miles worth of that.
yeah.
You know, so
Well, he was lucky to be on a ship the whole time. So
but it's still it's a tough deployment. Like
Yeah.
I people don't know what's behind the thank you for your service, you know, because they don't know the sacrifice he made. Because I'm sure him to a bigger extent, it's I gave up going to college because everybody's got those cool stories and all these sorority and fraternity parties and all these women and this and that. I gave that up. My father had me when he was 50. And when I left to boot camp, Alzheimer's had already started kicking in. And he was the breadwinner for the family. I left to Iraq and I volunteered. I was supposed to go to Africa. They called out who was going where. I was like, I ain't going to Africa. I didn't sign up to go to Djibouti, Africa. I don't know if you heard about that.
no.
Because the Navy gets stationed there too. It's a joint operation. And I went to the first sergeant after the meeting and I was like, hey, man, somebody in that platoon has got to be a pussy and not want to go to Iraq. Swap me out. And he did. And I sacrificed, you know, that time. My father's Alzheimer's was 100% by the time I got back from that war. That's it.
Oh my God.
It left bound. So technically, from that point, from a moment I joined the Marines, I gave up spending time with my father.
Wow.
He's dead. He's passed away a long time now. And would I have changed anything? No. I wish I had enjoyed them a little bit more. Make sure you do enjoy your father, man.
Yeah.
Cheers
yeah,
to your dad.
100%.
Now,
Family's important.
question. If you got drafted right now, would you still, like, we're at war, it's World War III, it's nuts, and Trump called you and said, you're drafted, but you get to pick what branch of service you go into. What would you pick? Would you still
Yeah,
go
I
to
would
the
still
Navy?
pick the Navy. Yeah.
What MOS would you get? Would you do the same one or would you change it up?
Yeah, I'd
Remember,
probably
your
change it.
database of what's
Yeah, I'd
available to
probably
do.
change it up.
What would you do?
You know, that would be a hard thing to think about. You know, you're
That's
thinking
why
about
we're here to have that
what's
conversation.
exciting, but then you don't want to just go in and
That's
get
why
killed right
today
away.
you have a family, you got kids,
You don't wanna
but
get
you got
killed.
drafted. What MOS would you get?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
I really did enjoy the firefighting.
Uh-huh.
So, but that's always like a secondary in the military.
Yes.
Like everyone's certified
for
to
sure.
at some extent to like fight
Especially
fire.
on a freaking ship.
For sure.
No, I don't know
But-
how to operate the hose.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's a hard one. Like I mean, I love shooting guns and stuff
That's
like
why
that.
I'm telling you, I'm putting you
so-
on the spot. What would that MOS be?
Yeah, I don't know.
If not, you're being forced infantry. So it is a tough one. Do you think any family members would join with you? Like, hey, I'm getting drafted. You think any of your boys would be like ride or die and be like, yo? Because shout out to my peeps. It was like 5 best friends of us from high school. Bulldog, Enrique Rios, Edward Alba, Ronald Vera, myself, Henry Andelo. We all joined. No questions asked. You're going? All right, we're all going.
Yeah. No, if they
They
had a
wouldn't?
choice, no. They're not going. They're not military guys. My friends are not military guys. I have some friends from the military that might jump back in.
If you could have a female celebrity go into combat with you, who would it be?
I mean, I just think about G.I. Jane.
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one, bro.
her character, obviously, but Demi Moore was such a badass in that movie.
Yeah.
And I can't
like
think
that
of
one.
any other female except for like maybe Ronda Rousey or something.
All right. Well, let's see how good you would do as an infantry, soldier, Navy, sailor, Marine, Air Force. Let's see how good you would do. Now on our shooter's gauntlet that I put everybody through, it's a 60-second course where I have them shoot a sniper rifle that shoots the deadliest bullet. It's a 22, people. I don't know why people call it the deadliest bullet. I guess because the guns are so cheap that anybody can have it and everybody has it. But it's 60 seconds and a total of 15 rounds. Let's see how good my boy Andy here does. We'll be right back. How do you feel about your performance of four? It was a total of 15 bullets. You ran out of time and you got me 12 hits. You were actually 12 for 12.
12 for 12.
Which is the stat I look for. But how do you feel? Are you happy about it? You feel you should have rushed it?
I feel good, except I was more worried about getting my shots. Forgot about the clock. Forgot about the 15 rounds. I knew if I was thinking about everything at the same time, I would have got 15 for 15. But I didn't want to miss, too. I didn't want to miss. I wanted to get every shot.
I picked 60 seconds because I felt like it was ample time for a comfortable and a person who felt cocky in a way to get those shots off because you were just very slow in the nomenclature part.
The first few.
You can tell you're not really familiar with bolt action.
You saw once I got comfortable, I start speeding up a little bit.
I think it was like every 1.5, every 2 seconds, you were getting a hit in. But
I like
you
it.
came
I
up
love
short.
stuff like that.
You came up
I'll
short.
get 15 next
However,
time.
I got to put you up on the board because as other people start taking your number, you start going down the line. People don't know this, but it's for everybody that gets me a full 15. I have a dollar bill from Iraq. I have Saddam money. You got to get the full 15 to win it. But at least you go up on my board. Give me a second.
All right.
All right, my dear friend Andy with 12 hits. And D, I'm going to write real small, Shaka Kai. Because he's being a good representation of Shaka Kai. Que hola! And congrats to Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
I shared it. That is a good accomplishment for her. Wishing her nothing but the best in her endeavors. And it means to me that much more that this is her business, that her father supported her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
not everybody has that privilege.
The founder of the brand and still out there doing everything she can to help the ocean and the fish. And
correct, which aligns with me. And if there's ever something I can ever do to the back end of something like that, I'm just a phone call away. And you know that.
Yeah,
you know that.
For sure.
I'm like that with everybody. It's just a lot of people have that pride to reach out for a hand or help.
Yeah.
You call me, I'm always there for you.
Congrats, Elizabeth.
Thank you guys for staying tuned. Much thanks to Andy. He's a real busy man, believe it or not. All right, the wife is blowing up his phone. Get your ass over here.
No,
every Monday, just one, but she wants number 2 coming soon so they can ruin his life. Stand by. Every Monday at 9 a.m. I'll be posting a video. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned.